Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Greater Naples. My name is Tony Fisher. Grateful to serve this congregation. I'm glad to see that all of you made it through the longest night of the year. You don't look too bad. Survived. Thank you for being here. Welcome to everyone here. Welcome to everyone who's viewing online. And welcome to everyone who's out there on the pavilion. There you go. I've got a couple of waves anyway. As a Unitarian Universalist congregation, we welcome the light of love that enters this space with each and every one of you. Is there anyone here for the first or second time this morning that's brave and would willing to raise their hand? Okay. Yeah, and is there anyone here that's been here more than the 2 times? All right, so you and the folks who were sort of dubious about whether they've been here a short amount of time should get together after the service, okay? Greet each other. So here there is no single path to truth, only the light we bring to one another as we explore the mysteries of life together. And here we welcome diversity in all its form, recognizing that our strength comes from our openness to one another as we work together to build that larger community of peace, justice, and love. Whether you're here in search of meaning, of connection, or simply a moment of quiet, know that you're welcome here. And before I get to the announcements, we need to practice together the mantra this morning. So when I say, welcome Yule, I hope you reply in your most lusty pagan voices, welcome Yule. Are you ready? Welcome Yule.
Welcome Yule.
Okay. That was good. I hope it'll grow in volume over the course of the service. This is the moment, just about right now, when the northern pole of the Earth is tilted as far away from the sun as it can possibly be. And so when our sun journeys across the southern sky this morning, it will be at its lowest point of the year. And that marks the beginning of the astronomical winter. The word solstice means sun stands still, and referring to the sun's apparent pause before reversing its seasonal journey back up the sky in the north. So my clock says that it is 10:03 exactly, which is this year the exact moment of the winter solstice. So, welcome Yule!
Welcome Yule!
Don't you feel good? Yeah. Did anybody see their shadow? Oh, no, that's a different holiday. All right. I have announcements, so I apologize for the number. But today we have a photographer in our midst. This is a photographer from the Naples News, and they'll be doing a spread on our 50th anniversary. So smile all through the service, please. No falling asleep or anything like that. All right, so let me go through these quickly. Today, the 50-50 for 50 years, a donation of $50 will go to supporting our 50th anniversary celebration, and 25 of that dollars will go to Mission Penal in Immokalee to serve those folks out there who are struggling a bit given the current climate. So if you write a check on the memo line, put 50-50 and probably send it to the office or bring it to the office, one of the two. Today, UUCGN mugs go on sale. You have your choice: blue, purple, red, and they will be on sale on the pavilion after the service. This is not so much of a fundraiser, but to pay for the mugs themselves. You will have a 50th anniversary. It does say that on the mug. It says 1976, 2026, 50 years strong. So a beautiful mug with our color logo on there. So I hope you will go out and see Mike and Barb Kirko, and if you haven't finished your Christmas shopping, you know where you can go. Today at 11:30, there'll be a reception in the Art Gallery. If you haven't been down there, the display celebrates our 50th anniversary. There's some wonderful early documents and photographs, so I encourage you to do that. That reception will be at 11:30 after coffee hour. Today there is a bus to the vigil, free bus to the vigil at the detention center, and that leaves here at exactly 2 o'clock this afternoon. There are seats, unfortunately, a number of seats available. So if you ever thought about going and you didn't know what you were going to do this afternoon, I urge you to go. I'll be on the bus as well. Thank you to all of you who made the silent auction a great success. I haven't heard the final numbers yet, but I know that it was a very successful fundraising opportunity, and I'm looking forward to almost everything that Ann signed up for. So it was a hefty check, which was good. It was good. I'm looking forward to that. Yellow T-shirts, if you're interested in getting yellow T-shirts. Patty Bryan has one on today. Where's Patty? Stand up there. Yeah, our 50th anniversary thing. See Steve Espinosa after the service. Steve is somewhere out in the back there. See Steve. They are free, right?
No, they're not.
Oh.
That was a limited amount of shirts.
I'm sorry.
So we could give them away. It's great.
No. If anybody wants to underwrite free shirts, then we'd be welcome to that. But $15?
Yeah.
Okay, $15. And tickets are going on sale next Sunday for the Daryl Davis concert on February 2nd, 1st. And Daryl Davis, if you don't know, is a wonderful musician, but more importantly, he is a speaker, a motivational speaker, has converted a number of Ku Klux Klan members away from the Klan. And he talks about that, and it promises to be really interesting. He'll be playing for us during the service, so we get to enjoy that, but the program is in the afternoon. So tickets go on sale next week. And last but not least, on Wednesday evening this week, we will celebrate our annual Christmas Eve service, candlelight service. Our choir will be singing, and we'll be joined once again by the wonderful soprano Nadia Marshall, so I'm looking forward to that. This morning I've asked one of our relatively new members, Jim Tice, to come forward and share some of his thoughts about his involvement here. And Sean, can we borrow your mic for a sec? All right.
Good morning, everybody. How are we today on this beautiful sunny day? Great, huh? Like Tony said, my name is Jim Tice, and I've been attending UUCGN for the last 4 years on Zoom and Facebook Live and in person, and became a member just last year. Although I was raised Presbyterian, it is a religion that didn't really speak to me as a 17-year-old. I went through confirmation, the whole 9 yards, and attended the services, and everything was about Bible readings and the interpretation of Bible readings. So I was looking for something else, and my parents said, you know, go your own path. And there was a Unitarian Universalist church right in my hometown of Kirkwood, Missouri, 2 blocks away from the Presbyterian church. And I thought, I'll give it a try. And I went, and they really spoke about what's going on in the world today, not some interpretation of 2,000 years ago. And at the time, I think it was Vietnam War was going on, and the energy crisis and things like that, and they addressed those, brought those, talked about it in the services. And I think what really clinched it was after one of the services, they had a wine and cheese party, which as a 17-year-old, I couldn't partake. So after that, I went to college and was kind of off and on with UUs. Went to some church in Minneapolis, didn't really work. Then I moved to Boston, and I started going to the Arlington Street Church, which a lot of people have referred to as the Mother Church. At the time, they were very active in social causes and protests and participation in the Pride Parade, things like that. There was a shooting at a Planned Parenthood clinic, I think in the 80s, and they held a vigil. The church was just packed with police protection all around it, so they really were on the forefront of everything, which I really liked. One program was working with Habitat for Humanity and renovating some brownstones in Boston's South End, which at the time was a lot of rundown places for more affordable housing. So I really liked all the action and the things that they did. So moving forward to 2021, my partner Jonathan and I and our dog Otis bought a house in right up the street here in Island Walk. And the first thing I thought was, so where is the UU Church in Naples? I went to the website, and after a lot of difficulty, I found that it was here. So I watched the services on Facebook Live and eventually started coming in person. I joined the garden club right away, and I really enjoyed it, but my knees didn't, so I had to move on. And now I'm a member of the choir and the music committee, and also I'm on the strategic planning committee, which we always have to pronounce it correctly if we're on that committee. So once again, like at Arlington Street Church, I had opportunities to get involved here, which brings me back to my experience back then. Here at UUCGN, we have what I believe is an unusually large number of programs, activities, and opportunities to connect ourselves with each other. From music, social action, discussion groups, yoga, tai chi, drum circles, gardening, and many more. In our December 6th all-congregation meeting, we all did some amazing brainstorming on the future. Where do we want to be in a world that is more and more difficult to live? How do we connect with the larger community, yet still pay attention to our own spiritual needs? Where do we want to be in 3 years? So even through the onslaught of daily distressing news, I think we have a great shot at building an amazing community of progressive voices and people of action. Of course, just to expand our widening circle, it will take commitment, dedication, resources, time, and of course, money, the dreaded M word. So when you are contemplating your pledge for next year, which I believe starts in January, the pledge drive, envision a robust, active, and loving community that is UUCGN, and give generously. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim, very much. And now let's take a deep breath and center ourselves for our time together this morning.
Light of our hearts, fires burning bright, we dream of the spring this winter's night. Surely the earth is turning from dark to light. Gathered friends in reverence here to celebrate the longest night. Light of our hearts, fires burning bright, we dream of the spring this winter's night.
Light of our hearts, fires burning bright, we dream of the spring this winter's night.
Gather friends in reverence here to celebrate the longest night. Light of our hearts, fires burning bright, we dream of the spring this winter's night.
Welcome, Yule. Once again, the earth begins its turn toward the sun. Once again, we awaken from the longest night, looking forward with hope. And we are blessed by the light of this, the shortest day. So may we greet each dawning as a blessing, fresh with possibility. As we gather again in community, joining our voices in word and in song, may the light we generate within these walls expand to bring forth a world of light and wholeness. Please join me in the chalice lighting words you'll see in the order service. In the darkest season, we gather. And please rise in body or spirit and join in singing our opening hymn, Dark of Winter. It's number 55 in the gray hymnal. The words will be on the screen.
Dark of winter, soft and still, your quiet calm surrounds me. Let my thoughts go where they will, ease my mind profoundly, and then my soul will sing a song, a blessed song of love eternal, gentle darkness, soft and still, bring your quiet to me. Darkness, soothe my weary eyes, that I may stand weary. My heart with sorrow cries, comfort and caress me. And then my soul may hear a voice, a still small voice of love eternal. Darkness, when my fears arise, let your peace flow through me.
Please be seated. So long before there was Christmas, all around the world, celebration and rituals existed to honor the annual mystery of the sun's turning and its return to higher elevations in the sky. And so was true within the widespread Celtic cultures, which originated in Western Europe and at one point were spread out over much of the European continent, from the shores of the Black Sea to Spain to Ireland. Today, some of those ancient traditions come through to us through modern-day Celtic cultures, which remain strongest in those countries of Ireland, Scotland, Wales, and Brittany. Though the Celts had a strong sense of the night sky and the rhythms of the sun and the moon, superstition abounded and rituals and traditions were kept faithfully. Because the sun's turn was so slow, the Celts believed it stood still for 12 days. In fact, the word solstice comes from the Latin sol, meaning sun, and sistere, to stand still. Elders would oversee the choosing of a great Yule log, which was lit from the remains of the previous year's coals. And it was considered important to keep the Yule log burning for those 12 days while the sun stood still, as it had the power to keep the darkness at bay, banish evil spirits, and bring good luck for the coming growing season. Celtic priests would also cut mistletoe that grew in the branches of the oak trees and gave it out as a blessing. Oaks were considered sacred, and the fruit of the mistletoe was a symbol of life in the middle of the deep winter. The ancient triple spiral symbol, sometimes called the spirit of life, spiral of life, was used consistently in Celtic art for 3 millennia. It's made up of 3 connected spirals drawn with one unending line. The Celts believed that all life moved in eternal cycles, regenerating at each point. And they also believed that all important things came in 3 phases: birth, death, rebirth, mind, body, spirit. The photo you're seeing now is from our slide deck of this morning, was found at Newgrange Mound in Ireland. Superstition aside, earthen structures throughout Europe reveal that these ancient people held an extraordinary understanding of the cycles of light and darkness and the importance of the solstice. The mound at Newgrange in the Boyne Valley is about an acre in size and about 45 feet in height. It was the work of a well-organized agrarian people. Archaeologists date the mound to about 3300 BCE, making it 1,000 years older than Stonehenge. The central passage into the center of the Newgrange mound is perfectly aligned so that on the 3 days on either side of the solstice, the light from the eastern sun, as it clears the horizon, shines into the innermost vault, illuminating the whole room with a wonderful glow. One of our former members, Paul Van Valkenburg, visited Newgrange at the winter solstice and wrote this short poem. Before shepherds saw Jesus' night sky, before Hanukkah's first miraculous light, before pyramids in Egypt, before written words, an unknown people built a monument on a hill where the sun lights only enter and illuminates at winter solstice each year. Awe and wonder. Let's join together in singing our centering hymn, Gathered Here. It's number 389 in the gray hymnal. Words will be on the screen. We'll sing it through twice. Not around, no. Well, around, you know.
Gather here in the mystery of the hour. Gathered here in one strong body. Gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour. Gathered here in one strong body. Gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near.
Our joys and sorrows this week will take the form of a candle lighting. And before I invite everyone forward to light a candle, I would invite Skip Lundborg and his family, if they'd like to come forward, light a candle, and again, share some words. Let me grab that.
Many of you already know through the news and networks of folks that my wife, Tony, died on Tuesday evening this past week. Many of you have already reached out in support, and I appreciate that. Joining me today are my son, Chris, his wife, Pam, and their daughter, Ingrid. They have another daughter, Lily, who's home with the flu this morning. They've had a remarkable week because Lily turned 18, Ingrid turned 13, and my great-grandson turned 3. The week has been full indeed. I wanted to express some joys as well. Joys for them and for my daughter, who was down and had to fly back to Atlanta yesterday. And there's one more. It is you. You have been a family to me for many years. Any of you who have joined within the last 5 years will have never seen my wife. Too bad. You missed a great lady. Thank you for your support and being here for me and for the rest of my family. Thank you.
I light a candle for Pat Engel, who also passed away this past week. Pat was a longtime Unitarian Universalist member of this congregation who lived at Bentley, and we didn't see her much over the past few years, but her passing was relatively quick, which is what she wanted, and so we remember her as well. If you have a joy or a sorrow you'd like to share, or if you'd like to light a candle as a symbol of Yule and wish something for the new year, please come forward. Maybe through the center aisle, there are 3 places you can light candles, and joys and sorrows. Please join me in the spirit of meditation. Spirit of life, ancestors of the stars and sun, you who embrace the vastness of space and us along with it, be with us today. Hold us in our worry, our exhaustion, our grief. Keep us close as we sit with our truth, whatever that may be. Lead us to rest in the quiet, to find solace in renewal in this time of shifting light and dark. You whose arms open with the spinning galaxies, help us to make room as you do for all that is. Open our hearts to our loved ones, our neighbors, the beings with whom we share this planet. Lead us to reach out to others in compassion. As the earth begins to reach in a new direction, help us to turn toward one another in mercy, right relationship, and reconciliation. You who have seen the rising and setting of suns, of seasons, of civilizations, remind us of all that we have learned from the history of the world and from our own histories. Give us the strength and courage to make our mistakes and to repair them whenever possible. Help us understand our interdependence, our gravitational relatedness with all of the other spinning lives around us. And lead us to treat those relationships with care. In this space filled with people among us who shine like stars, this space filled with the sparkle of love and care, we give thanks for this moment to be together. May our senses be open to the beauty of this day, this season, this world. Let's spend some time in silence.
Ring the bells of solstice, joyful songs and chanting. Cast the circle, bring the seed we bless for springtime planting. From the woods resplendent, holly and boughs be taken. Drum resounding call to the unconquered sun awaken. 'Neath the snowy silence all rebirth is now begotten. Morning born from darkness deep in earth from times forgotten. Joyous new beginnings, winter's dark attending. Life in spiral dances spun from endings ever ending.
In the 3rd century AD, as part of the Roman winter solstice celebrations, the Emperor Aurelian established December 25th as the birthday of the invincible sun. Not too many years after that, the Christian Church selected December 25th to represent the birthday of Jesus. By then, Christianity had made inroads into the British Isles, And over the next few centuries, solstice celebrations became tangled with Christian lore. Folk dances, songs, and plays often blended and blurred the pagan and Christian traditions. The result was a unique type of expression that was both wild and holy. This poem from Kate Hutchinson captures this time so well. Maybe it's all right that the Christians stole the solstice, carried it off to church and dressed it up with stars and crosses, and called the sun their own. Those with ancient blood know the wreaths and candles and songs tell a different tale, wherein the promise of the sun's rebirth is powerful enough to bring hope, and where elder and birch are the wise men who share the secrets with the guardians in their sacred woodland circles. Once our earth's darkness told us to be still and contemplate the deep womb from which all life springs. The ancient tombs at Mazo and Newgrange glowed with the first rays of our reinvigorated sun as he lit upon the buried cairns, promising life would come again. So womb gave way to manger, and earth's light to Holy Child, now called the hope of all mankind. But on the longest night, under the black dome of ice, earth whispers still. This song, Now the Holly Bears a Berry, is a song where the blending of the two holidays is evident. The pagan symbolism of the holly, representing fertility, protection, eternal life, and strength, blends with the story about Mary and Jesus. Sorry. Now the holly, she bears a berry as white as the milk, and Mary, she bore Jesus all wrapped up in silk, and Mary, she bore Jesus, our Savior for to be, and the first tree that's in the greenwood, it was the holly, holly, holly. And the first tree that's in the greenwood, it was the holly. Now the holly, she bears a berry as green as the grass, and Mary, she bore Jesus, who died on the cross, and Mary, she bore Jesus, our Savior for to be, and the first tree that's in the greenwood, it was the holly, holly, holly. And the first tree that's in the greenwood, it was the holly. Now the holly, she bears a berry as red as the blood, and Mary, she bore Jesus, who died on the road, and Mary, she bore Jesus, our Savior for to be, and the first tree that's in the greenwood, it was the holly, holly, holly. And the first tree that's in the greenwood, it was the holly.
Celtic solstice traditions have long included bringing holly and ivy indoors for protection, decorating with evergreens and the sacred mistletoe, feasting with family and building bonfires to encourage the coming of the light, all while honoring the mystical battle between darkness and light. By the early 14th century, boar's heads feasts were particularly popular. Their origin was probably a remnant of from early Norse invasions and the Norse custom of sacrificing a boar to the goddess of fertility, Freya, at her solstice feast, a custom that persisted in the north of England and was adapted for various English festivities. The well-known Boar's Head Feast at Queen's College, Oxford, with its North Country connections and a strong attachment to tradition, was one of those adaptations. Both feast and its accompanying carol survived long after wild boar became extinct in the 17th century. The ceremony, with its words and music, has evolved over the years at Queen's, but the arrangement of the Boar's Head Carol from 1901 is the one still sung. The provost and fellows enter after a trumpet call, and, the provost having said grace, the boar's head is carried in by 3 chefs on its silver charger, surrounded by rosemary and gilded sprigs of bay, stuck with flags and magnificently crowned. On either side are torchbearers, and in front walks the solo singer, and then, proceeding backwards, the choir. The procession halts for each verse and then moves forward again during the refrains. When the charger is set down on the high table, the provost distributes the herbs among the choir and presents the solo singer with the orange from the boar's mouth. Yes. And Tony is joining us on this one. There we go.
The boar's head and handbell I be decked with maize and rosemary,
And I pray to my masters, be merry.
Quod estis in convivio, caput apri de ferro, redens laudes Domino, caput apri de ferro, redens laudes Domino.
The boar's dish, I understand, is the rarest dish in all the land. While
Thus be decked with a gay garland, let us servire cantico.
Caput apri de ferro,
Redens laudes Domino,
caput apri de ferro,
redens laudes Domino.
Our steward hath provided this in honor of the King of Bliss, which on this day
to be served it is in regenesi antrio.
caput apri de ferro,
Redens laudes Domino,
caput apri de ferro,
redens laudes Domino.
One of the tales told about the solstice pagan traditions is the battle between the Oak King and the Holly King. I had always thought that this was an ancient tale, but in fact it's relatively new. The late 19th century it was developed in kind to many of the sort of the battles between opposites in many cultures. The story is told, and I'm offering you a retelling. This is a Unitarian Universalist retelling by Erica Barons. The story is told that in the beginning, there were 2 gods who were brothers. And like many brothers, they struggled with each other in ascendance and power. One brother was the king of the forces of light, of life and warmth. He wore a crown made of green oak branches, and brought with him all growth and vitality, fertility and abundance. He was called the Oak King. His brother was the king of the forces of death, cold and darkness. He wore a crown made of prickly holly branches and brought with him all withering and decay, stillness and hibernation. He was called the Holly King. The brothers were identical in strength, and so year after year, the same pattern was repeated. Each year, the Oak King would grow strong and mighty, and during his time of dominance, the light would gradually increase, bringing it with it warmth and abundance. But each year, at the height of his power, he would be thrown down by the Holly King, In the wake of the Holly King's victory, the light would gradually wane. As it did, cold would come and the land would go dormant. But at the height of the Holly King's power, he would be challenged again by the Oak King and would fall, and the cycle would repeat again and again. Alone, the brothers were equals. But soon there came a race of beings known as people. The people watched this cycle, and pretty soon they began to take sides. The people loved light and warmth, and they feared darkness and cold, and so each year they would celebrate the victory of the Oak King, but they would mourn the victory of the Holly King. When the two struggled with each other, the people would lend the strength of their voices and their bodies and their minds to the spirit of the Oak King. But the Holly King was without their support, and so time went by. Over time, people's adoration of warmth and light only grew until they began to invent ever new ways to find light in the darkness and the warmth in the cold. And finally, if they wished it, they could spend all of their time in the light they had created, and they could be warm all year long. But their efforts to stay always in the light and the warmth were not without consequences. Generations passed and generations again, and all the people did not notice at first the shifts in the balance. But finally, they could ignore it no longer. The people began to notice that darkness was disappearing from the land, driven out by millions of lights the people had created. Animals, birds, plants, even people began to suffer the effects of light unbalanced by darkness. But it was not just darkness that was disappearing. Cold began to flee too. The whole world began to get warmer. Summer began sooner and lasted longer. Ice that had been frozen far longer than the longest memory of the oldest person in the land began to melt. Migrating birds and animals began to be confused about when to begin their migration. Plants found themselves rooted in climates that no longer supported them. The air was changing, and the winds that had brought rain and taken it away again began to flow in unexpected directions, causing drought here and flood there. The people began to see that their support of warmth and light over cold and darkness had altered the balance of the whole world. They began slowly, one at a time, to realize that the Holly King was dying. And for the first time, this thought filled them with fear. What would happen if the balance continued to be destroyed? Could they even survive in a world without the Holly King? And in the world of the gods, the Oak King realized it too. And though they had been competitors all these many centuries, he also realized that he loved his brother deeply and could not live without him. The longest night came, and the Oak King and the Holly King met again. But this time, the Oak King had no heart for the fight. He lay down his sword and spear. He came open-handed to his brother, who was struggling just to stay on his feet. The Oak King wrapped the Holly King in a tight embrace, and he promised to set aside their enmity and to help his brother heal. On the night when he usually claimed descendants, the Oak King realized that the world was already too warm and too light. And so he laid the great oak crown on the head of his brother, took his hand, and each supporting the other, they went out into the world to see what could be done to restore the balance. We hope our gifts of words and music on this solstice will illumine your days as you go about your holiday plans. And for now, in the spirit of gratitude, we welcome to part of the services. This is the part of the service when you all can participate freely, openly, generously, being mindful that our beloved community provides both these within these walls and far beyond. If you're watching on Facebook or later on YouTube, please take note of the address. You can also visit our website that you see there. And if you're quick, you can take a photo of our QR code and donate that way. This morning offering will be gratefully received. Our ushers can come forward.
At the turning of and the winds that beat the western shore welcome us alone once more in a rolling storm that clears the year away. A rolling storm that clears the year away. At the turning of the year, as the sunlight cuts the longest night and early dawn, awaking light on cliffs that meet Atlantic tides, and we wade in the grass for a storm to break and pass in a rolling storm that clears the year away. A rolling storm that clears a year away. In a rolling storm that clears the year away. A rolling storm that clears a year away. At the turning of the year, the curlew's call is on the air, and woodland in winter sleep leans against the frosty breeze, and it's only here on that western shore that we can be alone once more in a rolling storm that clears a year away. A rolling storm that clears a year away. At the turning of the clouds above, we climb to the cliffs and watch the battle of a rolling storm, playing out the pain we've worn, and it leaves behind a new year's sky, a new beginning for you and I, in a rolling storm that clears a year away. A rolling storm that clears a year away. A rolling storm that clears a year away. A rolling storm that clears a year away.
So the shortest day came and the year died, and everywhere down the centuries of the snow-white world came people dancing and singing to drive the dark away. They lighted candles in the winter trees. They hung their homes with evergreen. They burned beseeching fires all night long to keep the year alive. And when the New Year's sunshine blazed awake, they shouted, reveling. Through all the frosty ages, you can hear them echoing behind us. Listen. All the long echoes sing the same delight. This shortest day, as promise wakens in the sleeping land, they carol, feast, and give thanks, and dearly love their friends and hope for peace, and so do we, here, now, this year, and every year. Welcome, Yule. Welcome, Yule. And now let's rise and body your spirit, sing our closing song, Deck the Halls. Let us affirm that new light is ever waiting to break through to enlighten our ways, that new truth is ever waiting to break through to illumine our minds, and that new love is ever waiting to break through to warm our hearts. May we be open to this light and to the rich possibilities that it brings, so that our voices, hands, and hearts can sing and work towards the good of all. Welcome, Yule. Have a wonderful day. Happy holidays.